Welcome everybody. Good evening, good night, good day, good morning, wherever you are. I know we get people from all over. I know people from all over the world, yes. And today we're coming from one of our studies of the Word of God. We're going to be in 1 John chapter 3. So the book is 1 John. It's towards the end of the Bible, after James, after Peter. Just getting comfortable with navigating through the Bible too. And actually today I have a physical Bible, a book in the New King James Version. Obviously with the apps it's much easier, but still you get to kind of know what books are where, you know. Starting, you know, Genesis, the beginning, Revelation, the end. Middle-ish is kind of Psalms, Proverbs, and towards the end, 1 John, the book of 1 John in chapter 3, starting verse 10, it says, "In this the children of God." Well, first question, before we read that. Most people say, oh, everybody's a child of God. No. I believe everybody has the potential to be a child of God. Obviously, God can do anything and He can call anybody to Himself. But not everybody is a child of God. I mean, we're going to read here Jesus Himself. Well, let's read first. 1 John chapter 3, verse 10. "In this the children of God and the children of the devil are manifest. Whoever does not practice righteousness is not of God, nor is he who does not love his brother." So right there he's telling you who is not of God, obviously. But he already established if you're not of God, you're of the devil. No? So those who are of God, would obviously practice righteousness. And what is righteousness? God defines righteousness, no? Jesus defined it by, hey, you love me? You say you love me? Do my commandments. And what are the commandments now? There's a ton, not just the 10 commandments that most Christians know. There was the law. The law is all the commandments. Now there was a lot of commandments in Deuteronomy, in the book of Leviticus. But Jesus summarizes, specifically when they ask Him, what is the greatest commandment? And He quotes, He says, first to love God with everything, all your strength, everything, all you are. And then a close second to that is to love your neighbor as yourself. And your neighbor is everyone. It's the same when he's saying here, John is saying not to love his brother, no. So who is not of God, no. Whoever does not practice righteousness is not of God, nor is he who does not love his brother. So he's saying if you don't practice righteousness or love your brother, your neighbor, you're not of God. And so many people, right, they say, yeah, we love. But you know deep down in your heart, your thoughts, who you love, God knows too. Jesus could see it in their hearts. And that's why He called them, you are of your father, the devil. When He was speaking with some of the Pharisees and the religious leaders. And if we continue reading, for this is the message that you heard from the beginning, that we should love one another. Not as Cain, who was of the wicked one, and murdered his brother. And why did he murder him? Because his works were evil, and his brother's righteous. So now we're also seeing that right there. Cain was of the wicked one. And it's simple. Sometimes we tend not to complicate things and tend to overthink it, but sometimes we just have to read it and take God at His word. He keeps going, do not marvel, my brethren, if the world hates you. We know that we have passed from death to life because we love the brethren. He who does not love his brother abides in death. Whoever hates his brother is a murderer. And you know that no murderer has eternal life abiding in him. Aeonius life abiding in him. And then keep going. By this we know love, because he laid down his life for us. And we also ought to lay down our lives for the brethren. So he's defining love, saying, you are of God if you're doing righteousness, which is keeping the commands of mostly of loving God, because that's going to shape everything, not to love God. Basically putting in the right order, in the right, order of things. So love God with everything. God gave us everything. What do I have? What do you have to be proud about? What do I have to be proud of? Everything's a gift. The breath that I'm breathing right now, it's a gift. Any strength that I have now to wake up in the morning, any sight I can see, I can hear, I can smell, I can write, I can think thoughts of that we can go into. That might be a different one, but that's what we see here now. We have children of God, children of the wicked one. And I think why we have passed from death to life. Most of us, and I use myself as an example, like we are testimony. We're living, walking testimony, living testimonies. So when I speak of myself, it's trying to give witness to what God has done in my life. I was a child of the devil. I was not in the world. I've always believed in God, in a higher power, but it wasn't the true living God. No, it was a God that I had made up in my mind. That's idolatry. It's not a God who was okay, if I did this and that. It was like it was almost like you become your own God. You're like, no, you're deciding what's right and what's wrong. And no, God is the one who decides what's right and what's wrong, how he defines things, how he defines love. What is love? No, we say, oh, I used to be, love, fall in love with girls all over the place, but it was lustful love. Now I'm learning what love is. Imagine to lay down your brother. No greater gift to lay down your brother to lay down your life for your brother. And what did Jesus do? If we look to Jesus as our everything, as our highest of the highest standards to follow, he laid down his life even for his enemies. So some of us might die, for your kids, for your mom and dad, maybe for your husband. But would you die for an enemy? That's like, that's not. That's why the cross is foolishness to some. It's a stumbling block, because it doesn't make sense. Like, what? You died for your enemies. He died for me while I was still his enemy. Why was I his enemy? Because I didn't want anything to do with him. I wanted to carry on in my ways, doing whatever I felt was right and what was wrong. And that's the whole problem with the world today. Now, those of us who are called by God, Jesus himself said, nobody comes to him, to Jesus, except the Father drags them, draws them, or drags them in the Greek. Some of us maybe are getting dragged, kicking or screaming, but, right? He loves us that much when you start to realize what love truly is. Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud. 1 Corinthians chapter 13. It is not proud, It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, it always trusts, it always hopes, it always perseveres. Love never fails. It's like, okay, that's a super high standard that we can. Now we hope. The hope is not blind hope, dreaming hope. No, we have the hope. If the Spirit of God, of Jesus is in you, you're already, right? You've passed from death to life. Now it's a process. We're learning. We should be learning, right? It's not like, boom, I'm perfect, and I'm not sinning. I'm not missing the mark. I'm not being lawless. I'm not breaking the law. No, I still process. You're living it, hopefully. You're feeling it inside, changing you, you know? And now how does God talk to us? To everybody, I believe He talks differently now. He left to His Word, yes. He can talk through His Word. Obviously, in the stories of the Bible, we have sometimes when angels of God were actually appeared to people and talked to them. Or we know He can communicate through dreams. He even spoke through donkey, animal from a burning bush, things that are supernatural. Yeah, that's simple as that. They're supernatural. How does God, in our thoughts, we have something, we have our own thoughts. We have thoughts from God, and then we have thoughts from the evil one, the wicked one. We know this because He did it to David, He did it to Saul, He did it to Judas Iscariot. It says, Satan put thoughts in them. Even to Peter. Peter, one moment he's proclaiming Jesus when He's asking, who do you say I am? And Peter correctly proclaimed, you are the Son of God, you're the Messiah, the Messiah, HaMashiach, And Jesus tell him, no, blessed are you, Peter, because you didn't come up with that, your own, no? My Father in heaven has given you that. Like God gave him that knowledge, that revelation, that thought. Well, the wicked one can do that too. Put thought in your head, make it think it's your thought, and most people act on it, when usually for lawlessness, for iniquity, for wicked things. You wanna, you see money laying around or something, and the wicked one just take it. Nobody's gonna know, take it. Where you deep down you're like, wait, and then you think, oh no, that's my thought. Yeah, I need it for whatever. I'm low on cash this week, whatever. So I'm gonna steal, or I'm gonna cheat on your wife or your husband or something, So these thoughts, if you look back before you, maybe you've always walked with God. Some people grew up with that, some didn't. I didn't. I was in the world and trying to figure it out, and like I said, how one of the key moments, testimony, that's why we're doing this. It's not that I love to talk about myself, but I love to show we are walking testimonies, witnesses, and we're sharing each other. If this is to be the true church, the church is the people. Living stones, temple of living stones, to build a community to share. One time I was surfing in San Clemente, California, and the waves are, kind of big. It was a little closing out. So I decided to go in, stop surfing. I didn't want to break my board, and because the waves are kind of closing out. It just means they just kind of dump hard, and there's no really place to ride the wave. I was at State Park. I walked up to my car, and I always kind of have my lifeguard fins. And sometimes I just leave my board and go with my fins to go body surf. When it's closing out, it's just fun. I just catch waves, and with your body, just get in the tube or something and get body womping, they call it, worked. But it's fun. But I went up and I was like, maybe I shouldn't go, maybe I should, I don't know. And I just had this feeling, like the nudge or the thought to like, no, go, It's not like an audible voice or anything like that. And, I was just like, oh yeah, kind of like obeyed. It felt like, yeah, okay, I'll go. I agreed and let's go. I grabbed my fins and I went back down. And when I'm walking down, I see on the beach there's the junior lifeguards are going out. And the tryouts, I guess, because all these kids, I don't know, anywhere from 8, 9 to teenagers, they're starting to swim out. Like one of the lifeguards on a big board went out to the buoy a few yards out, and then the kids are they have to swim. It's a test. They swim around the buoy, and they swim back. And I think they were going out as I was like walking back down to the beach and putting. But I'm wondering, I was thinking to myself, kind of like, wow, it's kind of rough today seas to be doing that, but okay. And they're swimming without fins. They have to swim, just swim. I had my fins. Usually lifeguards will have fins or a board, a big board, like a big long board or something. But whatever, I went out swimming, kind of go in to catch some waves. And by then the kids, obviously the older kids, the faster kids are coming back. And it was boys and girls, everything. Going back in, but then I see a few stragglers. And one of the kids, I kind of looked at his face and he seemed like fine. He wasn't panicked or anything, but he was just he stopped and he kind of looked at me. He's like, hey, can you help me out? I have a cramp or something, and I was like, oh yeah, sure. So I swam over to him and I did because I had lifeguarded before, so I just came from behind and just kind of grabbed him from behind and just started swimming into shore, with him. But I'm seeing there's the lifeguard with the board, I think he has like one of the young kids on his board, and he looks super scared, and the waves are kind of bigger now, so they can't he can't come in, he can't paddle in. But I'm going into shore and I drop off this kid. I remember him saying like, thank you, but I'm already just like jumping back in the water, and I see a big wave come. The lifeguard's kind of like paddling back out to sea to make it over the wave. And the little kid, like just falls off the board, And the lifeguard kept going, like he didn't see him, But I'm behind, like swimming, like, going under waves and stuff to get to this kid who he was like super scared, panicking, And I just remember trying to get to him, being like, I just need to get to him before he goes under, because then you can't find him, It's hard to find him, but I made it to him. I remember I just kind of grabbed him, like the lifeguard hold from behind again, like you kind of put your arm over the front here, and then my other hand in his back, and you kind of swim like you do like a sidekick swimming. And I don't even remember what I said, if I said anything. I just like, hey, I got you or something. And then we just start kind of swimming in, but the waves are coming, so I'm like, hey, hold your breath, we gotta go down. And I remember this one wave just like fell on us and we went under, and I was just remembering like holding on to him, just like, like, please God, my God, because you're getting worked by the waves, and I'm like, no, I can't, because I knew if he like came out of my grasp, I was gonna lose him. I could have lost him, and but thank God that was. How do we know that's the true God and the true living God? Because, well, that was a righteous, good thing, let's say, Some would say you're risking your life for another, but I don't even see it like that. I was just number one, I was super comfortable in the water. Like for me, it wasn't, like it seemed like I wasn't risking my life, but I was just thinking of this kid. I don't know why. I don't even know why I'm sharing this story, but I feel like, man, the Holy Spirit was definitely all over that, and getting to the shore, and I think the kid was thanking me. I don't even know there were no parents or around, they probably drop him off with the lifeguards. They think they're fine, but But in the ocean, it's like, no, you don't know. And these lifeguards, there was like too many kids for them. It wasn't their fault either. It was only like 2 or 3 lifeguards, and there's like 50 kids. Like, yeah, they were outnumbered. But to know then I didn't, but to now to kind of know, like, wow, God, used me. Like, thank God that I was used for that, to be able to do something like that. It's like, it's not boasting about me, nothing. It's like God, I can boast in God that He's so awesome. And I have another story kind of like that at another beach. That was kind of supernatural too. This was in Bolsa, Chica. And I had 2 friends, and they jumped in the water right away to go surf. And then it was kind of windy and rough seas, and I was with my girlfriend at the time. Again, I was, in the world with not really knowing Jesus or anything, just believing in a higher power. But even, like I said, it was made up, like the universe or the ocean, Mother Ocean, it was made up gods, But I was there, I had my wetsuit on already. California, it's cold water usually, wetsuit on. It's a big beach. There was like no lifeguard towers. I don't know if it was winterish. And as we're setting up, I remember I didn't have my leash on, which was a good thing because you'll see why. But I had my surfboard with me and my wetsuit was on. And usually I would take my leash out of my bag and then I would put it on. But before I even did that, I just heard supernatural. Why? Because it was so far away. But I heard it like clear as day. I just heard like, help. Like, help. And I just like, whoom, like I remember, whoom, like zooming at like Spidey sense. And I just started booking it. I just saw like a group of people on the beach, and they were coming out of the water, and then this one girl at the end, like the last person, like got sucked out. Like she, all of her friends kind of made it on the beach, and she went out. But it was so far away for me to have heard that help. It was like, I don't know, that's supernatural. But it just made me look, and I just started running over there. So then I heard help, and it was supernatural because it was so far. Like you kind of know, you wouldn't have heard it that clearly, but it made me boom, like zoom right in, and I just ran, booked it over there, and just jumped in the water with my surfboard and paddled and duck dove under waves, and she had gone out. Like she was being sucked out. By the time I got to her, she was like frozen, like, and I don't know, it just seemed like she had given up, like she was gonna die, because I put my board between us, and I'm like, hey, like grab the board, and I kind of brought her to, like, she probably was, I don't know what she was thinking, but who the heck is this person? Like, where did they come from? It's like, and I kind of helped her, like, get on the board, and she's on my board, the surfboard, and I start, this time I don't have fins, I just have my surfboard, but I'm grabbing onto the board and her kind of paddling in back to shore. And again, it's rough with seas, and towards the end I'm kinky, and you gotta time the waves, and then we kind of grabbed one, and the wave just I remember just made us, toppled us, but we were like on the sand, like on the shore, and I'm like getting up, and like all her friends are there, like, what the heck? And my girlfriend, she had walked over. She was a registered nurse, an RN by then, and I'm walking out with the board, towards her. And the girls kind of getting, all her friends are I kind of remember off the corner of my eye just seeing her push all her friends away, basically, and then come over to me and just give me this hug that was like this hug, when hopefully you've been hugged like that. But I mean, it wasn't nothing. It was a hug of like of appreciation, of thanks, of. And again, it wasn't. It's not boasting about myself. It was just like. Even my girlfriend at the time, like, was just like, kind of like, what the heck, like. That was awesome. That that girl, like, she didn't drown. She didn't nothing. Like, that was amazing, and that was. Oh God, like these things have come to mind now because I'm like, that was you, God. Like, that is incredible. The things you can do, even using, let's say, somebody who didn't even had a relationship with you, or but that is God's sovereignty. How awesome is that? Like, I truly believe that, and I believe I wanna follow His ways now. So you're changed from the inside. My thoughts, my heart, everything's different. Like I've missed the mark. That's sin. It's missing the mark. Missing the mark, his standard. We all fall short. Like shooting an arrow at a target and the arrow doesn't make it, it just falls short, So it's through Him that we're able to become righteous and to love each other. And I would love to have, to find a wife, like He says, a wife from how He defines things, how a man and a woman become one, like they become one flesh, to be able to obviously put Him first in the household and truly love Him and be able to serve other people through whatever we come up, whatever He gives us, a business, a vision for a product, anything, I have vision. I'm vision of writing. I am writing a book and 2 books. I'm one first, but I have both ideas already. And I'm like, it's Him. He's giving you, He gives us all that stuff to have a relationship with Him is just amazing and awesome and wonderful and marvelous, and that's the true living God. No. But we'll keep it there for next time. We'll keep going with other stories of Goodbye. Feel free to share, comment your stories of things before you were with God, with how you are with God now, and bye-bye.